Assalamualaikum and very good morning everyone. How do you feel today? Small okay?
Good.
Watch football last night?
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So, okay, I hope you are in the right class. Today's session or training will be introduction to material management and warehouse operation training for oil and gas. Yeah, I hope you are seated in the right forum lah. Yeah. So, first and foremost, as we know, safety is always the most important priority in oil and gas. Let's start with some of the basic things on safety. Yeah? First and foremost, before we start, we need to know who is our safety warden today. And we are glad that Madam Wendy is going to be our ER response warden. And a bit of the background on safety matters. First and foremost, this facility is equipped with all the necessary, you can see all the fire sprinkler, and we do have the exit escape. You can either use this door or you can go out through this door, and there's another door going out there. You can use that. And our assembly point is just right in front of this building. Yep. Today, there is no planned drill. So if you hear any siren, it's a real thing. So take note of that, please do take note. If you hear any fire alarm, it is for real. As for the toilets, I think for this particular building, the toilets is located on your left-hand side of this room. Yep, you can just go at any time if you feel like you need to go. And for surau, for those who's going to do prayers this afternoon, it's going to be located at the ground floor, kat bawah tu. As you go down the lift, you can see in front of the lift, exactly in front, is the surau. Any question on safety before we embark into the next topic? Anyone? Any question? All good to go?
All good.
All right. Okay. First and foremost, before we start, we need to have some energy in the room, right? We're going to do a first icebreaker. I want you to come out here, senang saja. The icebreaker is for you to be able to know each other. Come out here, mention your name, and greet one another by saying, how are you? Alright, let's start. Come, dekat sini. Yeah, hi. My name is Shah. Darren. How are you, Darren?
Good.
Hi, Diana. How are you? Hi, Alden. How are you? Amir, thanks for coming. Amir, how are you?
Morning.
Morning, coach. Yeah, how are you? Good. Okay, so we know each other. Come, have a seat. Ya, orang kata kalau tak kenal maka tak cinta. So we need to know each other so that we can make this orang kata session as fun and interactive as possible. To start off, you need to know who I am lah. So basically, my name is Sharudin Rahim. You can call me Shah or Haji Shah. I'm the co-founder and also principal consultant of HESH Consulting Group. Yep. I've been working for about 30 over years, mainly in the oil and gas industry. As you can see from here, prior to joining oil and gas, I was in the banking industry and 27 years in oil and gas. And my areas of expertise, you can see at the bottom, is more on transformation, business transformation or strategic management, supply chain management, sales and marketing during my days, early days during my retail. Retail ni jaga-jaga stesen minyak. I was involved in the Peninsula, managing 20 over stations dekat northern areas, Penang, Kedah and Perlis. And then move into HSSC towards the tail end of my career in my previous organization called Shell. Yep. And human capital, it is by nature you having to manage a certain organization. Human resource or HR is definitely a key element of my area of expertise. And I'm also a certified HRDC trainer. I did it here, by the way. So I'm also certified as a HRDC trainer. So now you know a bit more about me. it is about time for us to know each other better. Right? So this is a quick introduction. If I can make a plea here, you just need to mention your name, your role in your organization, and one key expectation coming out from this particular session. Will that be okay? Will it up? All right. So can we start with Darren? Yes.
Okay, so my name is Darren. I'm the service advisor in my company.
Okay.
So my expectation is to learn something.
Learn. Okay. Continuous learning lah.
Yes.
In any particular area when we talk about material management and also warehouse, since you are the safety officer, any particular topic that will be of interest?
Probably the material handling part.
Okay, material handling part. This is Darren. Okay. Material handling, eh?
Yes.
Okay, next Diana. Anything?
Hello, my name is Diana and I
Hi,
am
Diana.
a student in credit. So my expectation today is that I would like to learn something and
Learn.
hopefully-
Okay.
yes, learn the same as Darren.
Mm.
And I would like to hopefully apply and incorporate what I learned today into future university projects.
Okay, future university project. Okay, that sounds very interesting. What about you, Eldon?
Yes, good morning.
Morning, Eldon.
I'm Eldon.
Yep.
So my role in the organization is I'm the head of department for HR. And what I'm expect to learn today is how to get related with warehouse because
Okay.
we also have the warehouse.
Warehouse operation lah, Eldon. Okay. Cik Amir?
Good morning. My name is Amanda. My role in the organization is HOSH lecturer.
Osh?
HOSH lecturer for budget management.
Okay, lecturer. Wow, sounds very professional. Yes.
My expectation for this training is to have some additional information and new knowledge.
New
Yeah.
knowledge.
Yeah, of course. Something that I can learn.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amir. And finally, Herman. Morning, Herman.
My name is Herman. I'm a business consultant. My one key expectation is to learn how can you digitalize material management and warehouse operations.
Wow, this is orang kata futuristic. How do you then digitalize? Because now we are in the world of digitalization, and then we talk about new technology coming with AI. There's a lot of transformation out there. If you look at the ways of new industries, especially involving industry outside oil and gas. When we talk about IKEA, things like that, the way that they manage things is slightly totally different than what we are doing it in oil and gas. And if you look at Amazon now, it's all robotics. Yep, digitalization is the way that we move forward with warehouse operation. So thank you for your quick introduction. Before we start, there's going to be ground rules. Yep, these are a few ground rules and principles that I would like you to adhere throughout this course. First and foremost, thanks for not opening up your laptops and you can do it during the breaks. And then if you need to use your handphone, I know that every one of us are very important, especially in your roles now. You can still make use of your phone, but please make sure it is in a silent mode, and as and when you need to use your handphone, by all means, you can go out, have a conversation, eventually come back in a timely manner. Again, safety, no compromise on safety. As I mentioned earlier on, in oil and gas industry, safety is always number one priority, and we do not want to have any even small incident happen during this course of training. If you need to go for a quick ergonomic break, including going to the restroom, what you need to do is just raise your hand, angkat tangan, then say, I'm going out for a while. By all means, have your time out during your request for you to wanting to go for a rest. Yep. And please make sure that there's nothing that you put on the floor that could lead to slip and fall. Yeah, please make sure that you put your bags in the corners so that there is no tripping hazard and so forth. Yep. And finally, one more important aspect is we have to respect time lah, because time is precious. Especially when we talk about this training, we do have a specific time frame to complete. And I know at the end of the day, we want to go back home for whatever it is, either lunch ataupun dinner, to meet our family after the session. So that please, if I can make a plea, respect time, especially during breaks. And finally, the most important piece when we talk about training is putting up what we call learner mindset hat. Do you know what is learner mindset? Have you heard about it? Darren? Tak pernah dengar. What Eldon? Pernah dengar tak this word? Learner mindset. Tak pernah? Wow, very interesting. Cik Amir, pernah dengar tak this learner mindset?
Ada dengar tapi mungkin belum secara mendalam.
Yeah. Okay, the principle for learner mindset for this session ni, we're going to use only 3. There are many more. First and foremost, when we come for any trainings, there is no rank. Maksudnya kita tak ada pangkat di sini. Every one of us di sini are equal. There is no such thing as you are the boss, I'm the employee. No. So by doing that, having that mindset, then it's easy, or this is the place, we call it a safe haven for you to be able to express your concern, express your views. So the other approach of learner mindset is definitely wanting you to speak up. This session is a two-way session. It's not only one way. We are expecting this session to be interactive, fun. So it's going to be two-way. So a safe environment for you to speak up. And third, when we talk about learner mindset, is there's no such thing as silly question. You can ask anything because, again, nampak ni, all of you talk about wanting to learn. So by wanting to learn means you should be able to ask any question. So hence there is no silly questions throughout this course. By all means, kalau you nak tanya question, you can raise your hand or you can just pose it and hopefully I can answer you right away. So these are a few ground rules and principles, and I want to ask what else that you think will be very important when we conduct this training. Any other things that you can think of that you want to embed as part of this principle?
Have fun.
Thank you. Anything else, Eldon?
Anything that I learned today, I can apply in my
That's the good spirit. Yep. So I like this word, have fun. It's going to be interactive. Session is not going to be myself talking one way. It's going to be very interactive. So let's start with the objective. The objective for today's presentation ataupun session will be enhancing safety compliance. Mr. Darren, that's where your interest, I think. Yeah, we will focus on that piece. This is going to be involving material management and warehouse operation. Yeah, to ensure everyone goes home safely every day. Secondly, by the end of this session, you should be able to describe the end-to-end material management and warehouse processes and also its sub-processes. And I will also share with you this terminology called material principles, involving standardization, visibility, traceability, and readiness. Later on you will see, and hopefully you will get that into your DNA. Yep. Explain MM process flow to drive efficiency. Again, we touched a bit of technology digitalization just now kan. Kita cakap pasal AI, things like that. That's one part of it. And finally, for those new dekat sini, it's going to be something that I will touch on the fundamentals of inventory management and warehouse operation, again to drive performance. When we talk about performance, it's not only related to cost, it is not only related to efficiency, but it's also related to what, Darren?
Safety.
Spot on. Yep. Because kalau tak ada safety, this thing will impact your reputation. Yep. So to me, or to any organization, when we talk about material management, inventory management, we talk about warehouse operation, it does have an impact to your business objective. The reason is simple. Warehouse operation, Cik Amir, murah ke mahal kalau kita nak buka a big warehouse organization? Mahal. Why mahal? Why is it expensive to manage a warehouse?
Because it involves lots of process and then
Correct.
dealing with certain organization, for example, government bodies, you have to pay. So if we fail to comply, then we are facing trouble.
If you don't comply,
Penalized.
let's say assuming your equipment doesn't have certification, what could happen, Eldon? Related to Cik Amir ni. Kalau katakanlah now, Dodge, OSH are very interested, very keen to really inspect your warehouse. Let's say assuming there is no certification on your equipment, cranes for instance.
Cost of penalty. There will be a penalty.
Be penalty if let's say Dodge will come in and then start to do inspection. Diana, what will happen if let's say now there's so many people involved in the warehouse operation? What does that mean? A lot of people involved. What does it mean to the organization?
What does it mean to the organization?
Yeah.
Like a lot of people?
Yes, working in a warehouse.
Is it hazardous?
Correct, hazardous. Betul tak? Because every day you are expecting people to perform their duty. They have to be on their toes. They have to be alert. Yeah. Coach Herman, what can you think about, why inventory management, warehouse operation is very critical to business objective?
You need to have visibility, accuracy of the material, traceability.
Yeah, why is it so?
And also it has to be ready when needed.
Yeah. So we will touch base on the principle later on. I will explain a bit more detail. These are very important element or principle when we talk about inventory and also warehouse operation. Yep. Again, the most important piece at the end of this session, the objective is going back to what you mentioned, Eldon. What can you bring back? Belajar saja and don't apply is pointless. Yep. I'm not expecting you to bring everything back, but at least one or two that you can think and say, hey, this is the sort of things probably we don't have in our organization, and it can be easily implemented. And the impact will be so and so. And that's why I guess your organization brought you in here today, for you to be able to learn and eventually apply what are the things that it can be done in your organization to improve either the performance, either the safety, whatever, or create value, for instance. Yep. So please make sure that you do have time to write down key things, key takeaways later on. I'll give you time for you to be able to write down all these key takeaways and eventually, bring it back to your workspace. So this is the high level of the agenda that we have today. We're going to be touching base on the compliance of safety at the work site. I hope you can learn a lot more from here, Darren. Yeah. And I am also expecting that you also contribute to some of the things that probably I don't know, because we are involved in different industry altogether. Yeah. So we are going to do again. This session is going to be a lot of involving a lot of exercises, and as I mentioned earlier on, to create interactive and also fun along the way. Yep. We're going to do a few more exercises, but on the transformation of MN and warehouse operation, basic to operational excellence, I think most of you probably are new in this area. So we're going to understand the end-to-end MM warehouse processes. from good receipt, goods issuance. This is basic warehouse operation processes. As much as possible, adopt kalau boleh. Your organization may not have this principle. You can also adopt warehouse principle when we talk about visibility, traceability, accuracy, and also readiness. Yep. Material tendering, sourcing process. Cik Amir, penting tak Cik Amir, tendering process ni? Why it is important?
We want to win the tender.
You want to win the tender. That is from contractor point of view. But if it is from the company point of view, why is it important?
We want to know our contractors is the very certified one, and then they follow the rules and regulation.
Betul. Yeah. And there is also commercial end. There are also now dalam kita masyarakat, there's always war about corruption, bribery. So you have to make sure that you comply to the laws and regulation with regards to that. And I believe your organization also have some business principles along that line, right? We'll talk about fundamental of inventory management. Yeah. I will share what are the material categories, space terminology. This is related to, again, oil and gas. Share a bit more on the inventory planning, yeah, and we will cover something called stock accuracy. Can you take a guess, kah, Darren? What does it mean by stock accuracy kat sini? Just take a guess. I'm not expecting a perfect answer. Stock accuracy.
To make sure there are no shortages in the stocks.
Cantik. One of the criteria is there is no shortages on the stock. Later on, we'll go into that session. And finally, we'll talk about warehouse operation, storing, reservation methodology. We'll talk about surplus. Yeah, surplus, this is a topic that kalau you talk to any oil and gas industry or company, they do not want to hear about surplus. Because surplus carries a lot of duit. Yeah. Later on, I will go deep on this topic. And then we'll talk a bit on the causes of surplus and disposal. Yeah? Because again, we need to know exactly what causes it. Yeah? Then only we can mitigate the problem. And finally, we're going to have a short quiz. Yeah? Because kalau tak, kita takkan know the detail of this content. Short, simple quiz. And I think by the look of you guys, and the interaction that I have of you ni, I believe that you'll be able to pass this quiz at the end of the session. But most importantly is for you to have fun in this class, because by having fun baru ilmu boleh masuk. Kalau you tak ada fun, ilmu tak boleh masuk. Okay? Okay, we're going to start our first module called Compliance to Safety at the Work Site. Since kita ada expert kat sini, dua expert, satu daripada OSH, satu daripada Darren. Which company are you from, Darren?
UMW.
Oh, UMW, big organization. UMW Sunrise? No.
Industries.
Huh? Industries. Wow, it's a huge organization.
We're dealing with
Construction site, is it? No.
material handling.
Oh, wow. Okay, maybe let me ask you this question. Yeah, and also Cik Amir lah. This is also an interactive, kan yang kita kat you all. Can you take a guess how many number of occupational accident and also fatality? I will ask you occupational accident, numbers of occupational accidents and fatality involved in Malaysia, yeah, while people working, yeah, whether at the worksite office in Malaysia, per day back in 2022. Just take a guess. Occupational accident and fatality per day in Malaysia. Can you take a guess?
Around
Occupational accident.
50 plus.
50 plus. Fatality number? 30 per day. 30 per day.
Probably around 20 cases.
Cases of fatality. Okay. Alright. Cik Amir, boleh tak guess Cik Amir? Daripada statistik daripada HOSH ni.
Kalau based on 2023,
I-
because my report is altogether around Malaysia is 3,300 something,
Yep.
and then for I think around 17 cases per day.
70 cases. 70.
17.
17 or 70?
Yeah, 70. I think 70 lah. around
70.
that, yeah.
Fatality
Fatality maybe around
per day
maybe around 17 lah.
17. You want to take a guess?
Yes.
What will be the number?
For fatal, I think 15.
15.
And then for occupational, 50.
50. Okay. Jawapannya lari sikit lah. It is 94 cases per day and fatality is 1. But, Cik Amir, this is reported cases. Mr. Darren, there are unreported cases. It is hidden dekat belakang takbir that you do not know. I give you an example. Sekarang ni the worst accident that happen day in, day out. Can you take a guess what is it? An industry baru saja, industri ni tak lama, baru saja. One of the highest industry that cause a lot of accident and fatality. Coach, can you take a guess?
Gig worker.
Huh?
Panda, Grab.
Spot on. E-hailing industry. Betul tak Cik Amir? Naik motor, boom, jatuh accident. Ada report tak? Tak ada. Bawa pergi hospital, ubat-ubat ataupun mati, sembunyi. Now you have so many brand. You have Grab, you have Food Panda, in Miri you have Bekal. These are all not reported cases and it does happen every single day. Yep. But for oil and gas industry, it is a must thing for you to comply. Reason being is we are very closely related to regulatory requirements, authorities. Yep. And most importantly, we have one big boss that we have to respect and follow. That is Petronas. And now in Sarawak, we have Petros. So we have to report any single incident that happened within our workspace to these authorities for them to be able to keep track of our safety performance. At the same time, is also sharing lesson learned between the industries because the similar incident could happen somewhere else. So this industry is quite close-knit and normally they will share lesson learned between that organization. Yep. And for oil and gas in particular, yeah, if there is one fatality that happened within your organization, the chances for you to secure, you know the acreage tak, yang tempat yang pergi gali, where you have to bid for it, it's not given you free like that. You have to bid amongst all the players to get that acreage for you to cari minyak. Yep. If you have any fatality, even you have good performance records in terms of production, your profit, all those sort of things can put aside. Fatality means you are zero. You will not get any new acreages anymore. So it is very important for us to make sure that we don't have any fatality. That is at company-wide. Yep. But what about as individuals? Would you want to hear sad story, when things like this, especially involving your family member, involving in a serious accidents at the workplace, and what more to say about fatality? Yep. Now, we talk about Malaysia, kan? And we normally look up to other countries in the world, developed countries, to learn, Cik Amir, betul tak? Especially from Japan, developed country from the US. Can you take a guess? What about the statistics in the US? Can you take a guess? Berapa accident that happen? Maybe we start with you, Eldon. Just take a guess. Kita ni consider baru nak develop. These are developed countries. And no doubt they have more population. Can you take a guess what will be the number?
Per day.
Hmm.
I think more than 100.
More than 100. Mr. Darren?
I think probably 3 times the number.
3 times the number. Cik Amir?
Yeah, quite a number lah, but I don't recall, maybe around
Take a guess lah, 3 kali. Berapa kali?
something like that, 5 times.
5 kali. Cik Herman?
About 1,000 cases a day.
1,000. Diana, take a guess.
2,000.
2,000. Let's see the number. Betul tak? It's the whole year. You divide by number lah. This is developed country and I'm taking this from me. And Darren, take note. Your topic is going to be very interesting. It ties very closely to this topic. Right? Forklift incident, which later on Darren will cover. Yeah? Because a lot of time people think forklift ni alah senang nak bawa, senang nak handle. Oh, no. Forklift is the cause or the root cause of major reported accidents that happen at the workspace. Yeah? So, for me, as I mentioned earlier on, any incident of fatality does have an impact. It will touch your emotional button. My own experience, if I may share with you, Darren, even like macam not a day, not a working day, it was just a nice company punya golf tournament. I have a close friend of mine playing golf at the, orang kata belakang my flight. I was in front, he was at the back. He was playing golf, fine day, tournament at KGM. And eventually what we heard, he collapsed at the last hole while playing. And we went to see him. We thought that initially it was just merely, biasalah panas is what? Pingsan kan? So pingsan, what do you do, Darren, kalau pingsan? You suruh dia duduk bangun, kipas. But when during hot day like that, normally what does pingsan is could be one of the cause. What could be the most dangerous thing that could happen to individuals having to play games or working at a work site during a hot day? What could be the case that
Heat stroke.
spot on? He had a heat stroke. We were trying to revitalize him, give him all the necessary CPR. Unfortunately, he did not make it. He's only 32 years old. Baru ada sebulan punya baby, baru sebulan punya baby. And the wife is supposed to fly from Kuching to Miri to meet him, to transfer, bukan to move, to transfer and stay with him in Miri. And within 1 day, because I hear him calling the wife in the morning, talking to the wife, planning the wife punya trip back to Miri. You just imagine how difficult that we have to call the wife at 1 p.m., about 2 p.m., to inform that the husband just collapsed. And when we took him to the hospital, general hospital, he was declared as dead. It's not easy, yep. So if you go through that motion, you know that it is very difficult to accept such accident because it does have an impact to you as an individual, especially if it is involving either your beloved family or your dear friends. Yep. So before we go into the next, we're going to have the first exercise after this. What I want to ask you is this simple question, and I want you to be honest. Yeah? Let me write this down. The question is, dua, what is the purpose of you going to work? Okay, that is the first purpose. The following question is, what or who is important in your life? Let's start with Coach Herman. Purpose, going to work and work.
Money.
Oh, ini orang besar ni. Ini betul kan? Jangan kita ni. Betul. Because kalau tak ada duit macam mana nak hidup? So it is true. So what is important for you then, Coach? Money is important. Why is it important? Who or what?
Money provides for the family.
Provide family, ya? Family is important. Okay. What else, Darren? Money is one thing. The purpose of you to go to work is money. What else apart from money? Takkan money saja.
To live.
To live. Okay, ni live. Okay. Why live is important? Why?
To support my family.
Okay, family. Nama ada satu. Eldon.
Experience.
Oh, gain experience. Ni mesti baru darah gemuruh. Baru nak cari ilmu. That's why you are here today, right? Experience. You have a big dream, Eldon. Yeah, that's good. And why experience is important? Or who?
For my family and my future family.
Okay, family and future. This is for your progression lah, huh? Cik Amir?
Sharing knowledge.
Oh, this one sharing knowledge. Okay. Cik Amir lecturer ni. Dia nak turunkan ilmu.
Sharing and gaining knowledge.
Okay. Yup, sure. And then what and why? What and who? Important.
Yeah. For first and foremost of the family lah.
Okay.
And also our society.
Okay, society. I think Cik Amir, because your role is also you have some kata responsibility not only for the organisation but also society, community and so forth, right? Okay, so this is the parameter that we have put in place before we go into the first exercise. Okay. Simple saja exercise ni. Because warehouse and supply-based operation involve high-risk activity for us to make sure that everyone goes home safely. The exercise that I want you to do as a group, tak payah pecah lah, every one of you. You can use any of the board kat sini. You can use this template. It's just to list down what are the do and what are the don'ts when you work at the work site. Can you do that? Yep. You are given about 10 minutes this exercise. Yep. And after the 10 minutes ni, rest assured, everyone, I have a few more exercises coming up. And I will make sure that every one of you will have to do the presentation. So you, after this exercise, you have discussed, select one presenter to share what are the do and don'ts. Can I ask you to stand up? Can we use this board? Discuss in this board, use the same template. Come, let's go. Let's do it. You have a sifu kat sini. You have another sifu kat sana. Yep. Sama? Okay. Together lah, buat sekali. Buat sekali. What are the do and what are the don'ts? PPE. 5 kalau boleh. Policy. Can you elaborate why PPE is important? What do you mean by PPE? PPE, kalau tak ada PPE apa jadi? A bit lah. PPE is just one. Okay. Yeah, okay. HSE policy. Why policy is important? Kalau tak ada policy, what happen? Why policy is important? Elaborate sikit.
So that they are able to comply.
Compliance. Alright.
Anything else?
Follow procedure. Okay. Following procedure is one thing. How do you encourage people to follow the procedure, Cik Amir?
How to encourage them by for me for us in the company we actually normally we every day we do the we keep reminding inculcates them through toolbox something like that.
Oh, right. Toolbox discussion. Alright. Yeah, that's what we want here. Toolbox.
Awareness, look at awareness. Awareness.
Awareness. Alright. Any more? 5. You. Do dulu. Kita discuss do.
Follow procedure, what else? Best practice. What about best practice? Lesson learned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sharing,
Learning from incident.
Competency and
Competency. Why competency is important?
because I believe during the work site you need to drive forklift. And then those who cannot drive forklift, then we want to learn them to drive.
Fit to perform their work.
Yes.
Wow, that's great. Okay. Any more that you want to add the do? Kalau tak, we can move to the don't. Any more that you can think of? Enough. Alright. Okay, now don't. Apa pula don't?
Opposite.
Jangan opposite. Don't expect you to opposite. No PPE. No HSDC policy. No procedure. Other than that, ada banyak lagi don't. Can you all think? Kalau tidak mana adil, no. Dia tak mengancam. Okay, don't break the company house rule. Okay. Okay. Anything else? Diana? Can you think? Kalau
Lack of organizing of all the stocks and all that stuff.
lack of organizing. Yeah. Okay. Don't mess around. Don't make your place dirty.
don't compromise safety.
What else?
Don't abuse.
Don't abuse. Abuse of what?
Don't abuse the equipment.
Don't abuse the equipment.
Don't hide any
Don't
miss.
don't hide any near miss. Don't no harassment in the workplace. Don't harass. Because harass could happen, apa could happen kalau kita harass, kita bully, what could happen dekat workplace?
Create chaos.
Betul, create chaos.
No horseplay.
Huh?
No horseplay.
No horseplay. That one I tell you favorite tu.
Yes.
That word I go for any training, mesti keluar that word. Okay? Are we good?
Good.
All right. Well done, guys. Okay, let's see the kata formal lah. Ni lebih kurang informal. Yeah. This is the formal things. Yeah. For instance, the do. I like the word training and competency. It is very close to my heart. You don't have that, how can you expect somebody to work at your workspace? Betul tak? How can a crane operator be a certified crane operator? Forklift operator, are they do you expect that to be trained? Training sekali tak cukup, betul tak, Darren? They have to do assessment and refresher. Yeah? And when we talk about oil and gas, we are talking about offshore. Offshore, you have to attend a lot of trainings. Yeah? So, very important for you to equip your resources with competency. Second, we talk about procedure guideline. It has to be black or white. Kalau grey becomes guideline, best practices. But if it is policy, it's either black or white. Procedure, black or white. No such thing as in between. Boleh lah. It's not like traffic light. Traffic light ada kadang-kadang ada red, yellow and green. Because of yellow tu, a lot of people likes to break the rule. Kan? Tengah malam, yellow boleh jalan. Betul tak, Alan? And a lot of times, it does create accident. Right? We talk about certification. Very important. And certification has its validity where HESH will come and do a lot of inspection because that is one of the areas that they are looking into auditing your organization. Yep. Inspect equipment. Not only certificate, inspection of equipment has to be done, especially forklift, please. Forklift before they start work, it's not only toolbox. Forklift, there is a checklist. That is the way that we normally conduct how we manage our forklift punya operator. Make sure that that checklist is been done daily basis. Kadang-kadang tayar botak pun dia tak mau tukar. Betul tak?
Always.
Always. That's the problem. Yeah? Okay. Regular housekeeping. Signages. Clear signages. If you go to, probably if you go to oil and gas industry, they are more disciplined. If you go to the non-oil and gas industry, I do not want to pinpoint, especially on the construction site, you can see how the movement of the equipments. You even port, coach, kita ada pernah tengok port. Ports, terkenal punya port. The way the trucks move, I was looking at it and say, wow, this is like macam no signages, no clear, jalan is just haywire. And we are talking about big trucks. And
No shirt.
coach, you nak share lebih ke, coach?
Okay.
We are trained in oil and gas industry. It's different, kan? You have to work, you have to wear coveralls, PPE, safety helmet. So we were invited to have a walkabout to one of these, orang kata port lah, don't want to mention name. Mr. Darren, the first impression we really got shocked. The crane operator was not wearing hat, pakai singlet, pakai slipper, and carrying, the boom crane yang besar, angkat guni set beras. We were looking at it. Wow, how did he get his license lah? Yeah? So these are a few things. I will not want to go into detail, but I want to also focus. Somebody mentioned about reported. Yeah, because once you have this culture of reporting, it becomes habit, and once it becomes habit, you can feel safe that people are willing to speak up on any safety measures, be it safe act, unsafe act, things like that. A culture that is difficult to build upon. Yeah? So we also want to encourage our people to be able to voice out whenever they see things, intervene if somebody is going to a stage where accident could happen. Yeah? On the other side, when you start to ignore your safety procedure, simple example, traffic light tadi saya katakan, you can expect accident to happen. Improper storage, dekat rumah pun happen. Kadang-kadang, we tend to put the heavy stuff at the top of our shelf, and after a while, the chef pun tak boleh nak handle, can also fall. And you can see nowadays, I think in YouTube, people starts to share viral things that happen at home. Yeah? So these are certain things that can also apply dekat rumah you. Speeding, we spoke about speeding, especially when you are working at a construction site, work site, ports. It is also another cause of accident. Yep. I want to touch base on unprepared emergency response. Reason being is we are talking about oil and gas. Darren, is your organization onshore ataupun offshore? Onshore, okay. Can you just imagine now, if anything happen dekat offshore facility, what do you expect the staff to do? What do you expect the organization to do dekat offshore facility? When we talk about emergency response, what do you expect the organization to get ready to respond to any emergency requirement? Can you imagine? Okay, maybe you share your onshore punya ni. Later on, I will share a bit more offshore. Let's say you have a construction site, your area tu. What normally you have in terms of ER, emergency response readiness in your organization?
Normally they will have a ERT, emergency response team.
Spot on.
Then they will have a first aider.
Spot on.
Then the floor warden also.
Spot on. So
these are the first few people that have to respond first.
correct. First tier response, you will deploy them,
Yes.
right? Then after that, what do? If let's say they cannot orang kata manage the, let's say, big fire or explosion, what do?
The one that will have to call the firefighting only.
Correct.
Yeah, because it's something out beyond the control already.
Firefighting means bomba lah.
Bomba,
Okay, what else do they call?
ambulance.
Betul. And this bomba ambulance is just nearby betul tak? Kan? Dekat kawasan you lah.
Yeah.
Okay, now you just imagine that situation. Imagine that fire from small to become big, macam deep water horizon. Pernah tengok that gambar tu?
Yes.
Can you imagine that? So, who are your bomba? Who are your ambulance? Who are your medic dekat offshore?
Staff also.
That's why when we talk about ER, my goosebump goes up. Because offshore, you cannot rely on quick response coming from onshore. You have to be prepared. You need to know exactly what to be done. What are the things that you need to start to press to kita stop the production flowing? Because kalau you tak buat tu, Eldon, it became chaos. You are the first firefighter. You're going to be the first aider. You will be the medic. You have to be the orang kata incident commander. You have to act. You have to get ready the site response, emergency response team. When the site emergency response team is not able to curb the issue, then they have to escalate. And escalation means they have to set up another onshore, they call it emergency response team ataupun incident management team. And big organization like Shell, you have IMT, you also have what we call crisis management team. Crisis management team, when things becomes big, where you have to manage stakeholders, external stakeholders, and also bring in external experts daripada orang kata badan-badan ni lah, like bomba, even army. Sometimes you have pirates attacking kan. Now in our part of the world, we even have Chinese navy vessel coming in. How do you then manage? So these are a few things that you must know exactly what to do when we talk about emergency readiness. And for offshore, last but not least, as the incident commander, you have to make a bold call, evacuation. And evacuation means you have to starts to pull everyone out, and you have to make sure everyone is out. Yep. Kalau you don't make sure everyone is out, again, if it is involving fatality, big incident like macam fire, things like that, cost you a lot of reputation at stake lah. Yeah? Okay, so now we are done with module 1. We are going into what we call module 2, that is transformation of warehouse operation back to basic. Okay, probably you have heard about before, but if you have not, tak apa. I want you to imagine, let's say now, Cik Amir, you nak beli kereta. Kereta, let's say lah, Cik Amir nak beli luxury car. Definitely you will have to go through, this process lah. Or dia nak beli barang-barang rumah, macam beras, gula semua ni. You probably have to go through this process. Whether you know about it or you don't know about it, there are few processes that probably during our we are involved in this entire supply chain. Can you take a guess? One of the process that probably will be involved dekat sini, can you take a guess? What will that be? We start with Coach Herman. Can you take a guess? What will be one of the processes, key processes when we talk about material management or warehouse process? Plan and strategy. Why plan and strategy is important, Coach?
Because you need to plan in terms of how many materials that you require, especially when you have a project, right? So there are long lead items which you need to procure much earlier, for example.
Okay. Anything else? Thanks, Coach. Spot on. Cik Amir? Logistic.
Supply chain management.
Okay, what particular supply chain process yang involve logistik ni? Can you, tadi I share, tadi ada a few words. Transportation, okay. Mungkin one of the key process is your warehouse, kan? Warehouse process, yang you ada good receipt, barang sampai. Then you have goods issuance, barang keluar. Okay, and then you load out and you terima kat sana. Okay? Any process that you can think of, Darren? Standard procedure, okay. That is standard and procedure is already embedded into the process. Ya, ataupun the standard procedure lay down the process. What will be the few processes? Imagine you are buying, let's say you want to buy a car. What will that buying a car be involved with? So you will be going into what we call tendering, ataupun sourcing. Okay, Eldon? Tak ada duit, mana mau beli perak? Jangan gempar lah. This is another one, we call it requisition. Okay, Diana, can you take a guess? You buy things from your Shopee. What do you do?
I purchase.
Huh?
I purchase.
Yalah, these people, they know what to buy one. Okay, lebih kurang sama lah, tendering. So these are key few processes. Here I just want to share with you the detail. It's very comprehensive, but to be honest with you, this process depends on how big your organization is. Yep. So, like Coach Herman kata, first and foremost, you start with these two big process: strategic direction and demand profile. Yep. Again, going back to what I've said earlier on, Cik Amir, to set up a warehouse needs a lot of money. Yep, it's not like macam, oh tomorrow I want to set up UAM, I want to have a warehouse kat sini. No such thing. Why? You have to put up the paper as to why. Yep. So you also need to know what are those key basic things that pull the demand. How many items that you're going to keep at the warehouse? What item? Long lead item. Long lead maksudnya sometimes in oil and gas, even the valve, Eldon, it takes 2 years to manufacture. So you cannot just simply, contractor, tolong hantar valve. No such thing. And to be honest with you, some of the supplier ataupun OEM, we have difficulty when it comes to end of the year, when we want to place an order. Why end of the year we have difficulty? Yeah, take a guess, Eldon. Selalunya problem.
They don't want to keep stock.
They don't want to keep stock. To be honest with you, they don't want to work. Why they do not want to work? Christmas, New Year.
They will always say, oh,
Boss cuti. You talk about Italian companies, sometimes they take 1 month off period. So you make sure that your tender doesn't go during December. If your tender goes there during December, you're expecting the supplier to quote for you, they don't quote. Yeah? At times, the supplier is more important to the industry than the client. Yeah? You depend on the supplier to participate in your tender. Yeah? Again, here we talk about the process of getting things in, from requisition, tendering, then you award, and you want to award to a contractor that can deliver their promises. Yeah? Kalau you award to a contractor that cannot deliver your promises, you suck it. Because then you have to manage your contractor, you have to sometimes, no choice, to cane the contractor, to handhold the contractor. No, I mean straight to the point. Because they are not delivering based on your expectation. Reason being is if they don't deliver, it does impact your business tremendously. Yep. So we talk about, these are all the warehouse processes. Cik Amir, you talk about logistic. It starts from warehouse storing, goods issuance, goods load. And last but not least is also important, we talk about reutilization of surpluses that you have. Yeah? When we talk about reutilization of surpluses, a lot of things, I do not know the construction world, in the industry that we are in, oil and gas. We have, let's say, a big project. One of the big project, for instance, E11 project. Huge project to put that, facility offshore. Then you set up a project team. They will build that facility, and after they build the facility, the leftover, which is surplus first, is put at your warehouse. The worst is this whole group of project team now disband. They do another project. This project dia sudah lupa apa barang yang dia tinggal, dia lupa. They go and start a new project, not using what they have before. They start to buy new things. Can you imagine if, let's say, after 5 projects, the same thing they do, eventually your backyard is full of your surpluses. And what does it mean? Do it. Because surplus means unused materials, again, creating a lot of costs for you to maintain. It does also ring a bell in terms of safety hazard because barang tu ada dekat your warehouse. Small things like, when there are a lot of surpluses, people don't give a lot of attention. Kawan kita selalu duduk kat sana. Ular dekat yard. Kalajengking dekat yard. These are all safety hazard. Not only cost, but also safety hazard. So this is the entire end-to-end processes. Do take note. Yeah, it starts with, again, the strategic part of it, the requisition, and then some key elements of the supply chain involving your internal or external punya ni. Yeah. As I mentioned earlier on, principle. One of the key principle is okay. Before we go into, I think I would like to probably stop here, okay, because I think we are already approaching to about an hour. Yep. Okay. An hour dah. Yeah. An hour. Can we just take a break first? Yep. We take a break dulu before I go into principle. Is that okay with you all? Yep. So let's do it. Take a break. Then after that, come back here within 30 minutes. Yep. Back. Thanks a lot for being again punctual on time. As usual, after break ni energy kurang sikit, we have to energize. Yeah, so I prepared a very simple energizer for you all to keep the momentum going. Yep. So what I want to do is this. Simple energizer. I want you to listen to questions related to things that is important to you. Yep, I will give you the question later on, you will see. Then, it's going to be a multiple answer question, either A or B. Yep. Kalau you think your answer is A, angkat tangan kanan. Yep. You don't, among yourself, sendiri-sendiri angkat lah. B, tangan kiri. Yep. When I then raise that question, after I raise, I will say 1, 2, 3, you angkat. Clear? I hope my instruction is very clear. Huh? So it's going to be questions that is important to you. Yep. And when I count 1, 2, 3, angkat tangan. Either you angkat tangan kiri or kanan. Can we start now?
Yes.
Come, in the middle.
Alright.
Okay. First question. Gold bar or lock? Belum lagi. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Semua tangan apa? Kiri. Kanan? Right. Gold bar. Oh, semua ni. Mau jadi kaya.
Yes.
Betul kah?
Yes.
Okay, second question. Semua tangan kanan. Wait. Okay. Sugar or salt? What? Wait, cok. 1, 2, 3. Salt. Sugar. Okay, put down. Okay, last question. Phone or paper? 1, 2, 3. Siapa? Semua phone.
Yes.
So mau jadi kaya kena ada phone. Betul kah? Okay. Thanks for your answer. Now, let's see the true question. What is important to you if you need to stay afloat and survive during flood? You kaya.
I use gold bar to buy yacht.
Oh, sudah lambat. You ada dalam ni keadaan ni. Sudah dalam mau napas, mau angkat gold bar. Kaya tapi tak berdaya. Okay. Second question. Offering a cup of coffee, tea to important visitor. You want salt?
Hainan coffee, they use salt and butter lah.
Alright, pandai ni orang. Ini daripada Pakistan ya. And last, writing a will to your beloved family with a legal advisor.
I use phone to take video recording. Nobody can challenge.
But court nanti susah apa? You tak sign apa?
Video
proof pun masih black and white apa? Kena stamp lagi ya. Will kena stamp Mana phone boleh stamp? AI, not Herman. Okay, what can we learn from this simple energizer? What can we learn from this simple energizer? I give you a question early on. I give you a question and then I didn't spell out anything.
Not all good things give you sweet thing. Not good thing. For example, gold bar, you get
A better reward. Okay. Diana, what can you learn from this simple exercise? Simple lah.
I think it's similar to what you said. Like, not all the things that you want can
Darren?
Also similar as not everything is what you expect. So sometimes it turns out the other way around.
All right. Coach?
I beg to differ. I think you use what you have with you as you turn it as an opportunity. Like I said, if you have gold bar,
Can
that
buy,
person has a lot, I'll buy the gold from him.
Oh, then he survived, you drown. You take the gold bar. Okay, first is always wanting to know what is the purpose. Tidak? Once you know the purpose, you have a choice. And in this case, if your purpose is to stay afloat, macam masa tsunami, gold bar is tak pakai. So you must know what is the purpose of certain things that is important to you. Once you know the purpose, you must always have option to make key decision. And when I say option, it's not one option. You have to have multiple options so that you have varieties, approach, strategy that you can fulfill your expectation. So this is the simple energizer. I do hope it brings something to you. Again, to summarize this is know your purpose, have options before you make key decision. With that, thank you. Now let's go into the session. We go into our following session called Principle. I think most of us have heard this terminology standardization a lot of time, kan? Semua standardization. Herman, can you just guess what standardization means? Just give a shot.
You have a standard way of doing things.
When you have standard way of doing things, what does it benefit you?
The things will well done.
Okay. So, apart from standardization, you have heard me sharing early on, kan? Apa lagi? Ada tadi I beritahu. Darren, can you guess? I mentioned many times the 4 key things. Start with V. Apa dia? Ataupun you can start with A pun tak apa. Okay. Diana, anything? Tolong Darren Sat.
Is it the visibility?
Okay, good. Visibility. What does visibility means? Diana, take a guess.
It has to be physical, has to be seen.
Yep. It is more on identification of materials. Yep. Materials, that's why nowadays you have what you call here barcode. Why? It has to be visible. You need to know when I scan this barcode, it's giving me this mineral water, this brand, this content. It's not giving me spritzer. Right? That is what visibility means. Yep. Second, coach, take a guess, coach.
Traceability.
Traceability. Okay, traceability. Tapi let's cover the second piece, which is accuracy. I think you mentioned earlier on, kan? It is important for you to have enough stock. Yep. Accuracy, what does it mean is a lot of time kita punya barang, material is in our system, right? Our work site depends on the system to be able to tell them how much items that we have in our warehouse. So they cannot see the actual thing, right? So accuracy, what it means is the book in the system and also the physical must counting, must be the same. A good example in our life is what? Can you take a guess? When you want to have accuracy, tadi you say the big sign tadi.
Money.
You go to your ATM machine, right? Your account say 1,000, right? If you go to ATM, you want to key in 1,000, you want to orang kata keluarkan that 1,000. You say, in my account ada 1,000. Now I want to put cash out 1,000. You tekan, dia kata, oh no, cannot. You can only withdraw 850 because we are not accurate. How do you feel?
Ada minimum balance.
You tak boleh put 1,000. You only can put 850, but you say I got 1,000, bah. You are definitely going to be very unhappy. So similarly, in this world, when we manage inventory, you must make sure that accuracy is very important. Any questions that you want to ask on accuracy? If done, we go into what we call traceability. Traceability in the world of DHL, world of Grab, world of Food Panda, Shopee, top notch. Reason why? When you start to order in Shopee, they will tell you, okay, your order has been taken into consideration and we are going to post it to you by this date, and by this date it will arrive at the port, by this date it will arrive at Miri, this date the ninja driver will come and tomorrow will send it to your house. And they will do exactly what it is. That is what traceability means. What we do not want is in our backyard, let's say you are managing our warehouse, we say our book value we have 10, right? And then suddenly somebody wants to order 10. When they raise an order, tak ada 10, physically is only 9, but your warehouse keeper will send it to pack for you, send it to you 9, but you do not know when that 9 will arrive at offshore. How do you feel? You feel uneasy, because you want to carry out the work and the items are not going to be on time. And worst thing is, let's say the item, involving valve, which is very important for your safety punya campaign, you expect them to deliver 10, but at the end of the day, they only deliver 9, and you cannot start the work. Again, it does cost company a lot of money, right? So traceability is very important. Take note, traceability is just to monitor the movement of material. And finally, readiness, making sure that whatever items is needed, available right time at the right place. Okay, I want to give you a scenario when materials does not come at the right time at the right place. Offshore facility, give you one big example. When we talk about in Sabah for Shell, one of the biggest facility for oil that we have called Gumusut. Gumusut produces 150,000 barrels per day. Yep. And at one particular time, when you want to do major repair work or maintenance work, at times we have to shut down the facility. Shut down maksudnya tutup the production. Close the production per day cost us 150,000 barrels. And today the oil price is how much? Oil price berapa lah ni? Roughly 73. Kita ambil 7 lah. Berapa ni? Lebih kurang 1 hari. Assuming one day you want to do that maintenance work and you shut down this whole facility and barang you tak sampai. This is how much it will cost the platform if you don't have material. Now you realize that. So how important when we talk about material management. Yep. So take note, jangan main-main. That's why big organization, we have to have our own warehouse. We cannot allow contractor to manage our stock because we want to take full control and we should be able to influence certain key decision. Yep, take note of that. So remember this, Darren? Visibility, accuracy, traceability, and also readiness, standardization. Standardization, reason being it is important is you want to have economy of scale. Economy of scale, when you order more things, then you have more bargaining power of similar things. Betul tak, Darren? Yep. Kalau you don't have economy of scale, then you order things, you don't have that leverage to negotiate. So that's why when we talk about materials, it's always focused on standardization. So these are 5 basic simple principles on MM. Okay, now I want to cover this important thing called tendering of sourcing, because it's very important since it's involving the company requirement. Yeah? And it does have impact on cost, commercial, hence direct impact on your bottom line. We have sit down dah lama dah. It is about time for you all to again go back to your drawing board. What I need you all to do is to just map out. I want you to imagine, this is tendering saja. Bila you nak beli kereta, apa you buat? Now you are going to buy big valve, katakanlah, for the organization. But if you can't think that way, think about buying a house, buying a car in your own world. What do you normally do? Appreciate if everyone can stand up and then start to just map up and select one presenter.
What's the right? So first we start with
Okay, ada kat sana dah, screening. Yep.
so market screening. And then what's next? Tender. Sourcing. You need to advertise it. So sourcing. Sourcing, yeah. Sourcing. Okay. High level, huh?
High level, yep.
And after that is tender. After tender, we bid. Bid. After bidding is what? Offer. Am I correct? Okay, very high level. 6.
Offer, okay.
Am I correct?
After offer, what do you do?
Contract. Finalize letter of offer. Yeah, contract.
Contract, yeah. If it is to award to a contractor providing service, it's not once off, kan? You have to follow through, right? Yeah. Contract.
Then money. Payment. Develop.
Kalau kontraktor buat kerja dia, you tak bayar, marah dia. Sedih lah.
Payment.
Alright.
Okay.
Are you happy with this process flow? Okay. So, okay, sit down. Let's see. Yep. Thanks a lot. Most of the things that you have written here, it is captured. As I mentioned earlier on, what I'm going to share with you is more comprehensive. And it depends on your organization. Yep. It starts with market screening. Before you even want to buy your car, what do you do? Survey, kan? Which model, which company. Even in Miri, you want to buy Pro 2, there are banyak agent apa Pro 2. You don't go to only one. Right? Sometimes even the agent, the salesman do have some elements to influence you to make a decision why you go to this Perodua punya shop rather than you go to the next shop. Betul tak? You do a screening. Sometimes if the tender is so huge, you don't immediately offer. You do a what we call pre-qualification. You filter dulu. Sometimes when the items is available in many outlet, you start to kata pre-qualified. I don't want to go this outlet because this outlet is too far. You know, this outlet is nearby. You do some qualification. Yep. Then you prepare the tender because you want to buy important item. You want to buy high value item. You need to present to your management board. Right? Because you don't give approval. Because not your money. It's the company's money. You have to prepare something for you to be able to share to your organization why I need to buy this and where am I going to buy this and who I'm going to deal with. Right? So that you are very transparent in your approach. Yep. Then prepare your ITB. Yeah, you kata tadi bid. You prepare your bid. You submit your bid because dalam bidding tu, you have to make sure the documents that you provide are consistently for all the contractor. You tak boleh kata, oh contractor ni bagi sikit info. Contractor ni bagi banyak info. What happen if I start to do that? Eldon? I give you banyak, I bagi you sikit, I bagi you hanya very few information during bid. What will happen? Biasness. And biasness? Lack of integrity. Yeah. And eventually it does reflect your reputation in the market. Yeah. You go for, okay, tender briefing is optional. Maksudnya for major services that you're going to acquire, yeah, when you already submitted your your bidding documents, sometimes you want to have face-to-face discussion for them to be able to clarify certain things. Right? So that's why you invite for tender briefing. Again, tender briefing is optional and normally you do for high value services or goods. The small one, you want to buy mineral water, tak payahlah tender briefing. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, saya hendak membeli mineral water. Ini 4 kotak, tolong hantar kat saya. There's no clarification. It's very crystal clear. Right? So you don't need to do a tender briefing. Then you do bid opening. After you do bid opening, again, this process may be relevant to your organization or may not be, but these are best practices. You will open up what we call your technical punya specification to do evaluation. You don't open up technical and commercial, then after you open up both, sudah nampak number. And bila you nampak the price, automatically you make a different judgment. So always to be fair, best practice, open your technical, assess technical before you open your commercial bidding. Yep. And eventually you offer and yes, coach.
What happens if you do commercial first then technical?
Okay, what happen if, good question tak? What happen if you do commercial then you do? Can you take a guess what will happen? You tengok commercial dulu, then you evaluate technical. What will happen? Take a guess.
I think you compromise the process flow.
Process flow, betul? Eldon?
Maybe you mislook something from the
You use the word just now.
mislook about the
Mislook on?
decision making.
Betul. Okay, once you do that, once you open up your commercial, your hands is already open. And you do not know what is submitted for you to evaluate. Katakanlah now, if you open up a commercial, right? And you say mineral water is not a good example. You want to buy a car where your specifications say a saloon car, value of this range, 100 to 150, and the car needs to have all this specification, right? And you don't even look at the design, you do not know the car punya design macam mana, then you start to open up, and suddenly you open up, you saw the lowest quotation, right? The lowest quotation could be, let's say, 100,000, right? When you open up the 100,000, you say, hey, this is the cheapest, I should take this car, right? And when you make commitment on the commercial but not knowing technical, and when you start to open the technical, the specification doesn't meet my criteria lah. It is, it doesn't come with ABS braking system. It doesn't come with EV requirement. So it is like macam you already open, you cannot then backtrack, right? So it is, once you are in that stage, you are exposing yourself commercially. Technically, kalau boleh, you evaluate things on technical ground. Similar to when you want to buy a car, because you will have all the specification, you will even evaluate things like macam whether this fuel consumption of this car, berapa dia punya fuel consumption, because eventually kalau you take high fuel consumption car, it's also going to cost you a lot more money. But sometimes it's better to pay extra because fuel consumption is low. Eventually, long run, you will save a lot of money. Yep. So I hope I answer you, Coach. Always open technical before you go into commercial. Commercial will give you a lot of biasness, in summary. Okay? Yeah, Eldon.
Normally, who will do the evaluation and clarification?
Good question. Normally, when we talk about technical, the technical people are the so-called the users of the contract holder, the user, who demand this. In order for you to strike a balance, the technical part in terms of the evaluation will be done by the user, the contract holder. On the commercial end, it will be done by another party and normally involve contract and procurement team. So you have a balance. You don't have one party to do everything. Yep. Any question? Any more question? If there is none, we go into what we call fundamentals of inventory management. I would like you to take a few minutes and start to do a reflection on the two modules that we have. The first module is we talk about the safety work site. Second module is on because in the following session, there's going to be a session that I would like you to share what are your reflection. I do not want to wait till the end. I just want to take a pause kat sini for you to gather what are the reflection over the two modules that I have just shared. Yep. Can you do that? You need a paper to write, Darren? Reflection on the two modules before we go into this third module called Fundamentals of Inventory Management. Yep. Going back to what you say, Eldon, learning is one thing, applying is the most important thing. Yep. So just take a quick 1 or 2 minutes to think the two modules, what are the key learnings, key takeaways, and what are you going to do with this learning when you go back to your workspace. The two modules is the safety. I think safety, you probably have picked up certain things that, And the second modules is on material management before we go into the third module called Fundamentals of Inventory Management. Let me know once you are done. Okay? You need a pen or you need, let me know. Okay, I think all of you have done. Now, what we have covered just now was the entire material management in totality end to end, right? One of the element in the material management process flow is what we call inventory. Inventory are things that you keep stock at your warehouse. Yep. Again, depends on how your organization work. There are times that you don't keep stock, you ask third-party contractor to keep stock, betul tak, Darren? At times you have to keep your own stock. Yep. So we are going into this fundamental of inventory management. Let's start with what we call material category. There are 3 types of material category. One is stock and inventory. Again, stock and inventory, items that you keep in your own backyard. Either you put dekat dalam your warehouse ataupun you put dekat open space. Yeah, these are things that commonly people store for oil and gas, common stock item, drilling equipment, because they are all long lead items. That's why we keep them in our own backyard. And it requires a lot of material planning, requirement planning, to know exactly what is the demand, how much you are going to use it when it comes to the activities itself. The other one is what we call non-stock direct charge, and normally involve project materials. Yeah, maksudnya you have big project, explained to you early on, remember Eldon? You buy purely to install certain facility, then after that installation, your materials will end up as surplus, or some of the materials we can also put it back into what we call stock. Yep, so it is non-stock direct charge. Third, nowadays there's a lot of approach that has been taken by oil and gas industry where they are pushing it for the contractor to keep stock for us. We don't need to have any more warehouse because most of the contractors out there, they can also do this work for you. This is what we call third-party material management. And it consists of 3 types. One is what we call consignment agreement, vendor-owned inventory, third-party storage facility. Yep. And the characteristics are basically different. You can have a look at the characteristic. I will not want to go in detail one by one. These are characteristics when we ask third-party contractors to manage the stocks for us. Yep. Any question that you would like to ask before I go to the next module? Any particular questions? Are we clear? Yes, Darren.
Would the lean logistic management help to improve this material category?
Lean logistic
Management.
Lean logistic management could be involving in all this category. Yep. Reason I'm saying this is at the end of the day, when we talk about lean, it's always starting from the front end. Yeah, you have from the supplier to send the item to you. Yeah, how fast are they committed to the delivery timeline as per their promises dalam tender? It goes into our warehouse. Yeah, and sometimes the warehouse are managed by us with the help from the lean organization, lean contractor organization, to really manage the items for us. Because normally company will not want to own the crane, the forklift, even the resources, we do not want to own them. So we engage a lean third-party contractor to manage our warehouse to ensure it is driving efficiency. Yep. And what more to say, if let's say a contractor which is outside through our contracts that we have awarded to them, we do expect them, as and when we call out, we want them to deliver. So, if you want them to deliver efficiency, you need to make sure the lean contractors are well equipped. They know exactly what are the equipments they need to use, how many resources they need to have, what is the demand coming into their plates, and what are the things that they need to do to speed up your process. And not forgetting, lean is one thing. You want to drive benda yang cepat, they also need to make sure safety is always top notch. Cannot neglect safety. So when we talk about lean, it's also involving safety. Yeah. I hope I answer you, Darren, with regards to that. Thanks a lot. Now, these are terminologies of space. Probably you have heard some of it. Probably for you, a refresher. Some of you have not seen this. But I will try to link it to our layman punya world. I will use a car. My favorite things that I normally use when I talk about spare is a car, because car you all boleh faham kan. So common stock, what are the things that common stock is parts that are commonly used by two or more assets. Yep. Dalam kereta kita, what would be common stock item, coach? What can you think can be common stock item that you know your OEM normally keep? Oil filter, betul tak? You go and service your car, tak ada oil filter, mana boleh service kereta? So that is common stock. Yeah. What about capital spares? High value to mitigate major breakdowns. In oil and gas, things like pump, large valves, motor, transformers. For cars, what would be capital spares? Compressor. Pistons.
Crankshafts.
Yeah. Engine block. You go to car today, say, oh, my engine block is ni. Do you think they will replace immediately? They cannot, bah. Yeah. They will ask you, okay, sorry, it will take some time, we have to order. So these are capital spares. What else? I will not want to go every single line item. I want to touch base on critical spares. Critical spares, if the items is not available, it will then impact our production or safety. Yep. In our aspect of a car, what would you think critical spares would be? Brake pad. Diana, you bawa kereta every day. What would be your critical spares for a car?
What about the airbags?
Airbags could be. But airbags tak ada. It's not critical, tidak? Yeah, it's non-critical. Can you take a guess, Eldon? Critical spares. Gearbox. Yeah, could be ni. The most logic thing that you need to have is your tire, bah. Yeah, nowadays you have the spare tire, the old cars, but now you don't have spare tire, but you have that equipment to inject the fluid dalam tire tu. It's all about having that available for you to continue driving your car. You cannot just park your car at the side. You need to move. So critical spares are things that move your facility or your car. Yep. And repairable item is equally important. A lot of time, okay, for a car, what would be a repairable item? Take a guess. Anyone?
The brake system.
Brake system, okay.
The
Transmission. Yeah, my own experience. I have a problem one morning. I start my car, kereta tak boleh start. And I called the mechanic. The mechanic came, check, and that car was Continental car, Renault. So it is opportunity for him. It's a problem for me, huge opportunity for him. So he was telling me, oh, boss, rosak lah your alternator. That's why your car tak boleh start. I thought check battery was in good shape. Alternator, oh, because of that, you have to replace your alternator. And it cost me 1,300. Sakit, oh. And luckily that day, okay, he has taken now my alternator, bring it to the shop. He was just telling me, okay, I got a spare, and I will replace it for you. And I was like macam, wah, in Kedah, All-Star alternator for Renault. There is no agent, because I bought the car in Penang. But in Kedah ada spare. I was kind of, it does ring a bell. So I have no choice. I called another mechanic, a close friend of mine. I asked him, Mr. Teo, I got problem this morning. My car cannot start. And the mechanic said it is alternator. So I said, oh. He said, alternator? Yeah, he is now getting it from his Nila. Say, alternator can repair, bah? Why do you ask him to go and replace? Can you bring the alternator for me to have a look? So I said, okay lah. So I went to the shop, I said, Mr. Mechanic, can I take back my alternator? I will pay you for whatever cost that you come to my house. He was not that happy because he thought that it was a good opportunity for him to make some lah. So I said, no, please, you return back, I pay you 20, 30 bucks because nearby only, bah. So I pay him 50 bucks. I took my alternator, I went to see Mr. Teo. Mr. Teo looked at it, he thought, okay, I can service for you, I can repair for you. I pay him 30 bucks. How stupid could I be if I were to replace the alternator with 1,003? And again, the stupidity is also on me. I pay a person who repair for 30, I pay for a person who take out and just not doing anything for 50. So that's what you, and then when you don't do what just now? You don't do what? The tendering cycle properly, you end up with things like this. Yep. So take note of it. Certain items are repairable. Okay, we touch base on inventory. Equally important, when you have inventory, you have to have planning. Tidak, Eldon? What are the things that you want to keep in stock? What are the things that you need to make sure it is sufficient? Can you just describe what inventory planning is all about? I mentioned 1 or 2 lines just now. Herman, inventory management, what would that be?
To maintain an appropriate level of stocks or inventory.
Betul. Okay, you have to maintain. You need to know the demand comes from the user. You need to maintain the min and max. What else? Diana, can you take a guess? At home, you do a lot of your own inventory with regards to your things lah at home. What will inventory management planning involve?
Space.
Space. Betul tak? You need to know how big of a space that you need to keep. Because certain item is this big, certain item, you know, the tubing casing is so large. You need to know what is the dimension. Huh? Darren, anything?
It's sort of according to the movement of stock, probably like fast moving.
Oh. Okay, you come out here lah, you become the trainer lah. I think you answer most of the question lah. Tara lah. I think it is also your experience. Thanks. Yeah, I think you need to also know the layout kan. To again going back to the principle of having a lean or efficient process dekat your workspace kan. So basically inventory planning involve this, like what Coach Herman mentioned, maintaining appropriate level. You do not want to overstock items because overstocking means cost. It must be again the terminology, the word visible, traceable, available, and usable. Yeah, a lot of time items are kept, but eventually when they want to draw out the items, send it to offshore, tak boleh pakai because it was not preserved properly. Jam. Right? So you must make sure that whatever you send, especially offshore bukan hantar pakai Grab, it's not bekal panda, things like that. No. You have to send via vessel. Vessel costs a lot of money. Yep. Minimize inventory holding, and again, if you have this standardization approach, you will then optimize the procurement activity when it comes to replenishment, because you want to put a contract in place for a certain duration so that you don't need to do tender. It is now put into contract, as and when you want to order, you can order through your vendors. And more importantly, it shall be recorded, controlled, and make it visible. Do you have any questions before I go to the next slide? Any questions on inventory management? No? Coach? No? Good. All right. If there is none, you have to go and do another exercise. Yep. So this time around, stock decision factors are critical in managing end-to-end inventory management. Right? So one of the factor is criticality. Yep. Non-availability of material have an impact on operation. What are the decisions ataupun factors that you need to think before you say this item goes into my stock? With that, I would like you to stand up, select another person, run through this particular exercise.
Yeah, to scriber.
Scriber, Diana, go.
You just say you like
Follow
okay,
the
first one is directly.
Just
person description.
what are the things that you can think of? Kalau you cannot think of oil and gas operation, think about at home. Why do you stock item? Why do you stock beras?
Second one is the lead time.
Lead time. Lead, L-E-A-D. Dia punya delivery time. Why is it important?
Availability when needed.
Availability when needed. Okay. What else?
HSSE.
Safety. Yep. Could be one of it. Why safety? Darren?
Because if they don't comply, what will also impact the operations.
Impact. If you don't follow, can impact the operation. Okay. What else? Another pricing. Oh. Why pricing is important?
Depends on demand and supply. Sometimes it's expensive to buy, sometimes cheap.
Yeah.
Can be expensive.
It can be expensive like during the COVID period.
Yes.
This
Still.
what we call it, cryptocurrency miners. So because of them, normal users who wanted to buy a graphic card, they cannot afford to buy.
Oh, there you go.
This guy will get the two very high price.
One more.
Demand.
Demand. Oh. Why demand is what do you mean by demand?
So you need to know what is the requirement, whether you have projects, how many projects ongoing, so how many inventory do you need.
Spot on. Anything else that you can think apart from these 5? Eldon, one more probably from your end.
The space.
Space. Betul tu. Yep. Are we happy with this? Okay. Let's have a seat and let's see what are the things. I think you covered most of it. Yep. You covered most of it. Coach talked about planned consumption, which is demand, right? Lead time. Exactly what it is mentioned dekat sana, because you need to know some stock, like for oil and gas, to manufacture the 24-inch valve takes about 1 year. So you have to make sure that you order well in advance and then you preserve it. Yep. Eldon, spot on. Eldon, like Darren, HSSE. Yep. Cost, which is also price. Economic. Yep. Order quantity is also important. Sometimes they don't allow you to order, okay, I want to order 3 bolts and nut this size. You think the supplier will send it over to you? You say, no way lah, you go and buy at the Ng Sang Hub. Why you want to order from Shopee 3 nuts? Why you want to order? You go in Sang Hub hardware store, you can get. Tidak. Minimum order quantity is about the same. Repairable item material is also another consideration. Why do you need to stock when items can be repairable? Yep. So these are the factors that you have to look into consideration when you decide whether to stock or not to stock. Stock, when we talk about stock, you know about stock accuracy, right? We talk about stock accuracy just now. It is also important for us to make sure the physical and the systems are the same, right? And it is required of you to, kalau boleh, do annual stock count. If you go to any supermarket, kadang-kadang dekat Ng Sang Hub, you go to Everwin, they have a lot of people do that manual stock because you just want to make sure it is accurate. Kalau tidak, pilferage ataupun kecurian berlaku, and it's not going to be nice for you to have that numbers in your books, right? Yeah, that's why any differences, you have to make sure it is recorded. Yep. And ensure inventory information to the users are reliable. Again, remember I mentioned, we do not want to have surprises when items is not available during major shutdown of facilities. Again, tadi kita tengok the number is very scary. Yep. You have to make sure this doesn't come, or else you can hear a lot of noise, yeah, behind your back. So this is stock accuracy. And stock accuracy process involve many processes. You have to develop the plan, you have to do the actual counting, yep, and review the result whether up and down, okay, and making sure that at the end of the day, differences are posted in your system, or else it is not going to be accurate and it will create a lot of surprises. Okay, so now we are going into the final module, but again, before I go into the final module, take a few minutes to reflect what you have learned in inventory management. Can you just take a few minutes to take reflection of what you can do? Okay, let's look at the final modules that we have called the warehouse. So when we have a warehouse, these are a few methodology that normally you carry out, yeah? Approach or methods, yeah? You have indoor storage. The best indoor storage to me now that I can see is if I go down to KL is IKEA, right? And you have for organization like oil and gas, we do have a lot of outdoor storage. We don't need indoor to keep our big stuff item, tubing, casing, we put it outdoor. And these things are weatherproof. Yeah. Some of the things that it is important when you talk about indoor is racking and shelving. You must make sure that you use the appropriate racking and shelving system to manage your inventory. Yep. Or else you have huge racking system but items cannot masuk, no point. It's pointless. Or you have huge but item all small, you waste space. Right? So palletizing is also important because a lot of time you want to use forklift. Yeah, you have to use a lot of pallets, and pallets have to be strong to sustain that weight. Yeah? Preservation measure is equally important. We will cover preservation after this. Yeah? And most importantly is to have inventory management system for you to be able to keep your traceability of the material. As I mentioned earlier on, equally important, you have storage, you need to make sure you have preservation. These are a few methods that normally you use. And a lot of time, you have to make sure that you have macam cleaning, application of certain chemicals to make sure that it is preserved well, so that whenever you want to use the materials, it can be usable. Yeah? A lot of big stuff item, we use chemical treatment to really clean it up to make sure that the surface are prevented from corrosion or rust. Yeah? So these are a few methodologies, and normally these methodologies of preservation is coming from OEM punya recommendation. It's not the company decide what preservation method, it is coming from the OEM. Similarly, when you buy a car, the manufacturer will tell you what preservation is required to make sure that your car is looked after well, not only by the company but yourself as individuals. Yeah. And last but not least, surplus disposal. Yep. Surplus are left over from extra materials, you spoke about it. If you have a lot of surpluses from your projects, it does cost the company a lot of money to store, to preserve, and also it does impact your bottom line. No foreseeable use. So the question is, why do you keep it? It's better for you to sell to third party or contractor, or to share with other companies that wants to use the materials. Yep. So these are disposal and surplus, and the disposal hierarchy is always using this hierarchy when you want to decide whether you want to keep or you want to dispose. Yep. At times, some of your surplus falls into what we call scrap materials, no more value, you have no choice, jual besi buruk. But at least you jual besi buruk tu is not at your warehouse. Yep. And again lah, besi buruk banyak serangga-serangga atau haiwan-haiwan yang suka duduk di dalam besi-besi buruk. Okay. So, what are the main causes of surplus and scrap? Simple. Overestimated of quantity when you do your project, you do your activity, you do your demand profile. You have cancellation of scope. You plan but you cancel, or you have change of scope that eventually leads to surplus. Yep. This is mainly for project, and changes in equipment technology does also lead to surpluses. A good example of surpluses, changes in technology and equipment are, can you take a guess, Darren? Dalam barang mana equipment yang selalunya involve teknologi? Cantik. PC. Dulu you remember not? Kita punya ni bukan within few years from here to iPad to iPhone. Right? So these are items that causes a lot of surpluses. And when you do not do regular revision of setting your min-max or write-off, that also causes a lot of surplus and scrap. So basically, we have come to the end of the session of all those 4 modules. Sudah habis. Yep. I want you to take your moment again to just quickly take note of the, reflections on the last module, which is the warehouse operation. Can you take a few moments to just write down what are those things? Okay, I hope you are done. Okay, now we are going to the last sprint of this session. And that's why I've been asking you to take notes of what you have learned. Yep. Let us recap. What are the key lessons that we have learned? Can I start with you? What do you need? What topics or what modules that we have learned?
We learned about safety, and then material management.
Yep. We have learned about this, right?
Yeah. Do's and don'ts.
Do and don'ts at the work site. What are the things that you pick up from do and don'ts to one thing that is very glaring from your end?
Probably the safety aspect.
Safety aspect. Yep. There are a lot of do and don'ts. Yep. One of it that always close to my heart is about competency of people. Yep. Because if you get that wrong, you just imagine, if they are not fit to do the work. And the question that you may want to ask is, why do you want them to be at your workspace and expose them to a lot of safety hazards that could lead to accident and eventually fatality, and you do not want to end up in a situation where you have to go and see their family to explain to them as to why that thing happened. And it does impact your company reputation. Yep. What else, Alden? Module 2.
Management, management.
Material management. Yep. We talk about the end-to-end process. Yep. Remember end-to-end process of material management tak sama dengan tendering. Tendering is just one part of MM. Yep. And MM punya processes start with what? Remember? Very important thing. MM process start with what? Strategy. Yep. Strategy is always important. You start with strategy, you know the demand profile, you go into the requisition punya mode. Requisition is the tendering, and then after that you go into your warehouse, logistic, and so forth. Yep. And then we talk about this principle called visibility, accuracy, traceability, and readiness. And we talk about the tendering cycle. Because tendering cycle is important because it does involve a lot of commercial value. Finally, we cover these two modules, fundamentals of inventory. We spoke about material category, inventory planning, and stock accuracy. Eventually what we say is if you don't have material ready during your major shutdown, it does bring a lot of impact to the bottom line. Yep. And we roughly went through this basic warehouse operation. We cover storing methodology, preservation methodology. We talk about surplus and causes of surplus. I hope you will always remember these basic fundamentals of MM and also warehouse operation, where we also inject safety element in it. So I think over the course of this training, I have asked you to take some key notes with regards to the modules. Can I call upon Coach Sherman? Can you just share what are the key takeaways and what are you going to do with the key takeaways when you are out from this training session?
Yep. I think the most important that caught my attention is in terms of material management. The 5 key concept, which is standardization, visibility, accuracy, traceability, and also readiness.
Okay.
Yep.
So what are you going to do with that when you are back in your workspace? Any ideas how you're going to?
To align it with my expectation early on. To apply this and digitalize all this.
Right. Thanks, Herman. So again, opportunity to digitalize this whole thing because digitalization does bring in lean processes. Drive efficiency, create values, reduce costs. Also, bring up your quality, be it work ataupun processes. Eldon, what about yourself?
Interesting on the first module, which is concerned about safety.
Safety, okay. Yep.
Whenever we at the workplace, we rely on the safety. Safety is the first thing that we need to think.
Okay.
Whenever we do especially when in terms of competency, we need to have person that know and have competence to drive the machinery, especially forklift and skylift and whatever that is needs in the company.
Yep. Okay. How do you then apply whatever learning ni, or what are the things that you're going to do dekat your workspace after learning from here?
First is to let my team be follow with the rules and regulation, standards of procedure, and also don't hide anything happen in the warehouse.
Okay, that's good. Diana.
For me, I think like Mr. Herman there, I also believe that the principles you mentioned just now, like the MM principles, the visibility, accuracy, traceability, and readiness, I feel like they're
Mhm.
to processes, efficiency,
Okay.
and also compliance.
Okay.
And I believe that I can use these principles
Mm.
in my university projects,
Okay.
and I believe that I can also use it in organizing and also resources for my university projects and also group projects.
Okay, good. Mr. Darren.
I think for me, most of the modules actually is very relatable to my current work.
Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah.
So especially I think for the parts side, like in order to keep the parts, because every day we're dealing with customers, they want to repair the forklifts. So from there actually there are like certain parts like you mentioned, for example, the part actually takes a year or two. So for forklifts, especially the electric trucks, batteries actually they take quite a while, maybe around 3 to 4 months.
Mm.
But after time, we always face this situation whereby the customer, they expect you to have it ready on stock. But we always try to educate them, like, we can't keep this as stock because it will deteriorate and then the whole thing will go back.
Betul.
And it costs a lot of money.
Correct.
So, and also maybe probably we can also learn from what you mentioned, we have to properly plan the stocks
Mm.
and we have to do actually planning for the customers as well.
Okay.
So in order they don't face like breakdown or downtime because it costs them a lot of money.
One thing that probably I can suggest is always have data that you translate to analytics to really see the trending. A lot of time you don't have the trending, you will not be able to see when it's required, how many that you need to either keep stock and for how long. Yeah, because data and also analytics plays an very, very crucial role when we talk about inventory management. Yep. Thanks for sharing your key takeaways and things that you will be wanting to implement when you are back to your office. So with that, time for you to have quiz because you sudah pandai dah. Yep. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pass you this quiz 10 question. Yep. And then jangan tengok dulu, soalan ni amatlah mudah dan senang if you really orang kata focus during our conversation. So it's going to be 10 questions and the passing mark 50 saja. 50 marks saja. So I'm going to give you about 10 minutes or less than 10 minutes lah for you to be able to answer, and then we will go through that question and answer session together. With that, open up your questions and let me know once you are finished. Number 10, I don't expect any failure. Kalau number 10 fail, I think I have failed my mission today. Take your time, do some reflection. Okay, are we done? 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 Diana, finish?
One more, one more.
One more. What? The last one?
No, no, no.
Okay, done Okay, let's go through one by one the questions and answer, and I expect honesty and integrity. I will allow you to answer your question by yourself, and then after that rate yourself whether you have learned along the way. Okay, the first question, which is not part of of operational safety at the work site. Since this is question related to safety, Darren, what is your answer? Number 3, demand profile. Why?
Because it doesn't,
Profile is part of inventory management.
Cantik. Okay, you can help each other. Okay, let's help each other. Thanks, Herman. Second, what is the end-to-end material warehouse processes? What are the end-to-end? Diana?
I put all of the above.
All right, all the above. Yeah, betul. So at least you concentrate, you focus on the end-to-end material management. Third, Eldon, which is not category of materials? Number 3. Because number 3 we didn't touch base kah? Yeah, and number 3 is basically why? Mr. Herman knows what number 3 is all about. Herman, can you share with Eldon what number 3 is all about?
I will present it.
He will present it later on. It is part of the lean process or CI process. Coach Herman, so question number 4, what are the basic principles of MM?
Answer is number 4.
1 and 3.
Quality and traceability.
Alright, cantik. We go back to Darren. Terminology of spare, which is not part of terminology of spare. 1. Disposal is part of disposal lah. Sorry. Okay, number 6, Diana. What are the decision factors to consider for inventory planning?
I put all of the above.
Because all of the above factors are important. Remember we talked about it, yeah? Eldon, what is not part of stock accuracy process? Third party, yeah. Third party material process is part of material category. Yep, take note of it. Coach, what is not the common storing method? Number 8.
Nitrogen blanket. That is part of preservation.
Cantik. Number 9. Which are causes of surplus? Number 4. All the above. Yeah. And finally, Madam Wendy, what does this indicate? The 3 color. Alright. Not the answer, not the jawapan.
Company
Madam. Ini. Ayo, madam. Okay lah, confirm. She was really focusing on assessing us lah. Yeah. So, okay, score yourself. And how many of you got more than 50% correct? Angkat tangan. Alright. That's good. Good to hear. But before I let you go, it is equally important. I've already assessed you and I want you to tak payah. Okay. Then we skip this part, and I think that's all that I have, unless you have any more questions with regards to the session. Any final takeaways? Leslie?
It's a great session. We learn.
Thank you. How can I improve? Maybe I ask that question. How can I improve as an individual providing this training session? Coach?
One suggestion is maybe to give more real life example.
Real life example. Thank you, Coach. Anything else from your side?
Study.
Case study, yeah. Thanks a lot. Diana, anyhow,
I have no
you have
feedback.
no feedback?
All good.
Okay, with that, thank you for being giving me a lot of orang kata attention, focus throughout this session. And I wish that at the end of the day, again, going back to what Eldon mentioned, bring away all those lessons learned, and more importantly, be able to apply at your workplace to bring the best of yourself and also your company. With that, thank you very much.